Hello, some quick tips to help you on your project. So you basically have a fill function, and if you type in like a month or a day, you can basically in the right hand corner where you see the square, if you put your mouse on top of there, hold down the left mouse button, and I am using Windows right now, and just drag it across, it'll continue with that same pattern. So you can use that to help populate the months across the top. Also, I'm gonna basically hold down the control key and pick non-adjacent or adjacent fields. You can pick the various fields. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pick a couple fields here. And I want to enter a value. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enter a number. Now when I finish, instead of just hitting enter, which will only put the 12 in cell H4, I'm gonna go ahead and hold the control key and hit enter. And what you'll notice is that it actually filled the rest of the cells as well. So if you want a quick tip to quickly populate your database, also if you want to add another column, now there's another quick tip as well, but I'm not going to give all the quick tips and the shortcut keys because some of you, this is your first time and you haven't had a chance to really go and practice with Excel. So I'm just going to add another column here to the left real quick, and I'm just gonna right click, and you can do an insert and it'll actually move it over. Now here I'm using 2013. The things like the control, enter, etc., those will also work on 2010 as well as on the Mac, but you're not going to hold the control key on the Mac. You're going to hold down using the option and the command keys instead. So you can basically go in and enter. In your case, you guys had items, or so I'm going to enter some stuff in here, textbooks, and I'll do final exam homework 1. Now, if you want to format a column or a row or a particular cell, you just select. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and select this entire column. And if you notice, I have the home ribbon selected right now, and you have different ribbons across the top. You got the insert ribbon and the page layout, formulas, which we'll look at in a minute. So I'm going to just make sure I'm on the home. And here you see that it has a particular font type, and this time I actually want Arial. So you're going to make, for this example, I'll go ahead and pick Times New Roman. So I'm just going to slide down here real quick. You can pick whichever font you want. And there we go. So I'll select that one. And then also, if you notice here, it shows you your size. Now, if you move your mouse over top of any of these, they will actually, if you stay there long enough, they'll give you a tool tip to tell you exactly what that is. So I want to go ahead and change that size to 20. And I want to make it bold. So you can go in and make modifications to the cell accordingly. And then also I want to make this left align. Now your sheet asks specifically for left align, right align, etc. Those things are located here. So I'm going to just align it left. And then across the heading real quick, just to demonstrate real quickly, I'll go ahead and align this to the center. And I also make that bold as well. Now if you want to add a color or something like that to the particular cell, now I talked about 2 ways on the ribbon, and then also if you right click, you'll notice that it also pops up here to let you put in a fill color, or you can also go down to format cells and click that and actually select that particular cell, and then it'll give you different options. For example, if you want a number, if you want currency, and then you can specify the decimal places as well as a symbol. So if you want it in euros or some other denomination besides dollars, you can select that here as well. And then you can also select if your negative numbers, if you want them to display with a negative in front, or if you want them to be red, etc. Same thing, you have accounting, you have fractions, you have all these different particular number formats that you can select for that particular field. Also, your alignment is located here, so you can do your horizontal and vertical. You can wrap text, you can shrink it to fit, etc. And you can also change like your text orientation. So I'll just change this very quickly to about 45 degrees here. Now either you can select it, or you can actually type the value in. You can go in and change your fonts here as well. You can put a border around that particular cell. So I'm just going to select that I want the border on the bottom, on the side, and I don't want it in between the individual cells between B and C, etc. So I'll just pick the outer edges only. And you can pick a fill pattern, so I want it to be filled in the color of blue. You can also do protection if you want to lock a particular field or hide a particular field here as well. So I'll go ahead and click that, and if you notice it did put a border around it. It also changed it to 45 degrees. So I want to go ahead and put in some other values just very briefly, and just do the control enter like I told you earlier, and I'm just going to get the cells that don't have anything in them. I'll just grab a couple of them. Uh-oh, not that one. And there. So I'll put it in 46, control enter, and I didn't want this one. I could have backed up, but for sake of time, I'll just go ahead and enter some random values in here. Now, if you want to do a formula, there's a couple ways to do the formula. If you notice in your textbook, it talks about the formula ribbon, which will allow you to insert a particular function. You also have your auto sum functions, which will have your average, your count numbers, your min, your max, and then if you notice, there's more functions. So there's a ton of functions. If you notice, there's functions for financial calculations, for logical, for text, for data, etc. And there's all these different functions that are available to you. So I'm going to go ahead. So that's one place to get it here underneath formulas. Also underneath home, if you go over on the left hand side, there's an auto sum. Now on the Mac, it's going to be a little bit different if you're using Excel on the Mac. So I want the actual sum. So I'm just going to click that real quick. And if you notice, IntelliSense will try to select the particular cells that it thinks that you want. If that's not the particular cells, then all you have to do, if you notice it's highlighted, I can go and drag and select different cells as well. So I'm going to hit that. And if you click over here on the side, now if I want the sum to be in every single cell beneath it, what you can do, a quick shortcut, you see the square in the right hand side, all you got to do is double click, wait till it turns to a plus, double click, and then it'll populate those cells as well beneath it. Now if you notice in the corner you see that green triangle, what that's telling me is that there's an error with that particular formula. Now it could be an actual error, or it could be if the cells are non-adjacent. So if you notice this yellow diamond will pop up, if you click on that, it'll actually let you show you the particular error or format, or update the formula to include this particular cell, or ignore it, or help you on this particular formula. So you can go through and actually confirm that your formula is actually doing and showing what it's supposed to do. So we have an error right now, and what I'm going to do is underneath the formulas, you have an actual, there's two things that you can do. Either you can hit the control key and hit the tilde key, which is located above the tab key. And I'm just going to click that right here. And what that's going to do is actually display the formulas. So now you can actually see your formulas and decide, hey, did I really want I2? And this is not really what I wanted. So I can go in and actually modify these at that time. So instead of I3 through I6, I really meant to actually grab, and I'm just going to slide over real quick. I'm really meant to actually grab those cells. So I'm just going to hit enter. And so you can go through and modify those particular cells. And now we know that's no longer an error. That's actually what we want. So I'm just going to go ahead and say ignore the error for that particular one. So you can basically go through and check your formulas to make sure that it's actually doing what you think that it's supposed to be doing. Another way, like I told you, holding the control key and hitting the tilde. You can also click up here at the top underneath make sure you're on the formulas ribbon, and go ahead and say show formula. So if you click that, that'll also allow you to see the formulas as well. So hopefully, actually one more thing I want to show you, and I'm not going to take up too much of your time. If you want to create a table, or I'm sorry, a pie chart. So I want to insert a chart. So I'm just going to highlight these particular cells, and I want a chart. So if you notice, this one's going to look a little bit different than what you have on 2010. So I'm just going to click on charts real quick. I want to insert a pie chart. I've already selected the cell. The easiest way to do this is select the particular cells that you want to actually have in your table. So if you look, actually, I want to look at this. I don't really want this sum in here, so the easiest thing I can do is either modify it now or I can actually change it later. It's always easier, especially if you're not familiar with it, to change it before. Okay, I just hit escape. So I want to create a table showing the assignments and then also the points. So I'm just going to grab this area right here and I'm going to click on insert. And then I'm just going to click on chart. Now there's different types, but I want a pie chart. So I'm going to click this, and again, it's going to look a little different, but the process is still the same. And I decided I want a 3D. So I'll click that, and now you can make some modifications to it. For the first thing, it says chart title. I don't want chart title. Once you select it, it'll highlight that area. So I'm just going to double click inside of there and put my chart. Now yours is going to be a little different, so I'll put my chart in there. And then also I want to have a legend, so I'm going to go ahead and add some chart elements real quick, and I want to have data labels, so I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. And I have the labels outside. Now yours is also going to allow you to pick what you want in terms of the legend, and I'll show you just briefly in a few seconds um, on a Mac because I don't have 2010 on the system. So I'll click outside, and then I also want my legend, instead of on the bottom, I'm just going to put it on the right, and that's just a personal choice. You don't have to. And now I can just drag the chart and locate it anywhere I want on that particular spreadsheet. Now you're going to get an option when you create the charts, and it'll ask you if you want it on another sheet. You do not want it on a separate sheet. You want it on the same worksheet. And down here, like now it says sheet 1. I'm just going to put my budget real quick. You can put, or I'll put my sample instead. Here's my sample. If there's other sheets, you can add additional sheets to it, as well as if you right click on it, you can delete them, you can rename them, you can copy them, you can protect them. What I do a lot of times, if I have multiple sheets, you can also do some tab colors, and it just makes it easier when you have multiple sheets to be able to see and spot quickly that particular worksheet that you're working on. Okay, so real quick, I'm on the Mac, so I want this, and I'm just going to go to charts real quick, and I want a pie chart, and I'm going to select the chart that I want. In this case, I'm just going to do a 3D exploded pie chart, and there's no chart table, or there's no title on here, so I'm just going to select this particular one. Now you got quick layouts, and you also have it on the PC. I'm just going to select that one. There, and I'm gonna double click here just like I did before and modify this chart table. Alright, sample chart, and then I can also, now if you notice, it's showing percentage. I don't want percentage, I actually want values, so I can go in and modify that as well. So my data labels, I want actual values, and now it's on percentage, so we'll put values there, and then I can also say where I want those to be. So I'm going to put it on the outsides instead of inside of there. And thank you very much.